Best parenting thing I ever did. Well, if you don't like it, you know how to fix it, right? Oh, I gotta pee and go to sleep. Yep.
So that does tie into the thing that I wanted to talk to you about, though. But first, what's in the box?
What's in the box?
What's in the box?
What's in the box?
So, whoa. What's up with your toe?
It's because my kids wear my slippers.
Anyway,
my toe's
so
busting out.
So quick update before we start everything.
Update.
Yeah, so we're going to do this podcast. We're going to do one more. And then after those posts, we'll already have one from the professional studio.
Studio.
Yeah, we got a producer and a studio, and he's actually really cool because there's a lot of input, which I wasn't expecting to happen. And like, no, not like that. I talked to my friend about producing and using the space for the podcast. That way it doesn't look so unprofessional and we don't have to like bounce around between like different spaces. But I was expecting it to be like, this is our studio. This is what it looks like. This is what it's going to look like, sort of thing. But there's been like more input of like, do you want banners? Do you want this for your opening? Do you want like... It's been a lot of the communication between me and him on like stuff that like we want to upgrade and add on and stuff like that has just been more than I thought. I literally thought it was going to just be like, here's the space, here's the editing, we're good. Like, this is what it is. So it's exciting that like there's more input and there's more like, it's not just us using the space. Like, we can change things and we can make the space like ours. And because like that space gets used but not used, we can kind of do it our way. You know what I mean? So like that's really cool. And then like me and him talking about like certain ideas for the intro and like stuff like that. There's just, it's able to like be better in a way of like, not that this isn't fun, but it looks very like downgrade. It looks very like we're doing it minimalistic because we are. So like, I don't know, I'm excited for all of those stuff. I'm excited for all that stuff and like everything that's going to bring and stuff. It's going to look a lot better. It's going to be more fun, I feel.
I'm getting attacked by bugs.
So that's exciting. So like I said, we're going to do this one, we're going to do the next one, and then after that I'll probably give a date in the next one of when the like one when we get in the studio is going to come out, or at least what that looks like. But coming closer to that. So yeah. So anyway, so first things first,
I'm the realist.
Yeah. So how's life been besides lifing, which you say every time I ask you that question?
It's life.
That's life.
You know, we're just out here doing it.
We're just out here raw dogging life.
We're doing it.
How is working? I know that you always say that like you like working with me or whatever, but how is like, I don't know, being at the same job again?
Well, it's nice having like knowing that you're there, like knowing that I have a person there. We don't really get to see each other that much or like work with each other very much right now, but it is nice to know that like
if you wanted to like see a familiar face,
I have a safe being there.
Yeah. So what I had a thought about and what I want to talk to you about, speaking of, remind me later because there's a part of this that I want to talk to you about outside of this. But I had a thought of, and we kind of talked about it last week, of kind of like, I feel like there are a lot of things that were learned like in growing up that aren't necessarily, they're only social constructs or like normalcies because I feel like we're taught them growing up, not because we would have learned them organically.
What do you mean?
So like there's other examples, but I mean like I'll use the example that me and you talked about last week about like Wyatt and the going potty and like stuff like that. Like as a boy, you're taught mostly, this is different for some people, but mostly of like, if you get a boner or something like that, like that's automatically
it's like
a
sexual
a sexual thing.
or
Yeah.
like you're
And so you grow up.
excited about something.
Yeah. So like you grow up like
Just
thinking
associating that with that off the bat.
So that's like just like a sexual example, but there's like examples in everything that I feel like is kind of the same thing, that like I feel like there are some things that we grow up thinking or associating with that necessarily wouldn't be there unless we were like told that they happen.
Yeah.
Like I would say, and I know this is like an example that other people use, but I would say racism falls into that a lot.
Oh yeah,
I feel like that is definitely
any kind of bigotry, like any kind of.
I feel like not an aversions, but like there's an organic, like that person's different, because like you notice it wouldn't matter like racist stuff, like even if somebody was like tanner but they were white, like as a kid you're gonna notice, oh, they just don't look like me. Mm-hmm. Like that's natural. Mm-hmm. But I think the connotation of like I shouldn't be around them, or they're so different that like whatever the case is, that part of it
like is stereotypes and stuff like that.
Yeah, like that part of it is learned and put into where it wouldn't be organically that way. Yeah,
but also some of it may be experiences too. I'm not saying that your experiences should dictate how you treat people in a group like that. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying it does happen though. Like if a certain group of particular human beings continue to be a troublesome to you directly, mm-hmm. you're going to tend to associate them with that kind of behavior and that kind of...
Well, it's the same thought process I would assume as like men and women. Like, yeah. And I don't want to use... I know you hate this phrase, and I don't mean it in the context in which other people do, but like the idea of like not all men, that's a true statement of like not all men are shitty or not all men do this. But if you meet enough of them, your automatic reaction to a gender mm-hmm. as a whole is mm-hmm. going to be like, this is what to expect.
Well, and also my argument with not all men, just like I have with other things that are stereotyped, what are you doing to change that?
Yeah.
You can say you're not like them, but what are you doing to change that in women in general?
And that,
like, what are you standing up for women? Are you telling your buddies they can't talk to women that way? Are you... No. So you kind of are. Like, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not saying that by not standing up to your buddies, you're a bad person. I'm just saying you're also
technically a part of the problem as well.
You're associated to it. You know what I mean? Like if I went into a bank and robbed the bank and you held the door open for me, you know, you're part of it.
You're like, still helping. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that.
You know what I mean? So like,
but to that point, that's how I feel about like the organicness. If you're never taught about that, is that I feel like if it's not indoctrinated into you at a young age, you would see the guys that are nice. You would see the other races that don't fit into stereotypes. You would see those things and be like, oh, okay, well, this group of people may do this, but my buddy doesn't do that, or my boyfriend doesn't do that, or girlfriend, or whatever the case is. So like, that may be true for them, but that's not true for him. Whereas like, if you grow up with that,
that's one person.
Well, yes.
Like,
but I'm saying like the thought process of it, of like, it's not a whole gender or race or group of people sort of thing that you're growing up with. It's just I feel it. I've said this about race in general is because how I grew up, I saw all different types of like ethnicities. I saw the stereotype version of them, and I saw people that broke those stereotypes. So like me growing up and getting into an adult, I can understand a stereotype, but also I don't believe the stereotype, if that makes sense. Yeah. Because I've had the opposite. You know what I mean? Like I've seen hardworking people. I've seen, like things like that with other races. So I know that that's not a generality thing. Whereas I have also seen the other side. So I understand, like, oh, okay, I get where that comes from.
Yeah, I get why people think this or why people feel that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the same way I feel about like gender and stuff like that, is like, if you're not taught, if you're not indoctrinated so young to where that's before you get life experience and see the different sides of it, I feel like when that is the case coming up, that's
Well,
hard to break.
Even if it's not spoken, if
Yeah.
you're in a house where the dad does nothing all day but works and the mom does everything else, you're going to grow up thinking that that's just how it is.
Mhm.
And not in a, like a, not that it shouldn't be necessarily for you, but if you're not comfortable with that, you should have the ability to be like, I don't like this. I want to work.
Yep.
I want to do this. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And if you grow up in that environment, whether it's spoken or not, you may think you don't have a choice.
Yeah. And also that's hard to even think that there's a, again, going back to the point, if you don't have, or going back to what I said before, if you don't have exposure to there being,
1 second.
it's hard to break that as well, even if you find out later. And that's kind of what I was getting at, is that, like, obviously you grow up, you become an adult, you have life experiences, so you know that there's other ways of doing things, there's other, like, viewpoints, there's, you grow up around in a certain box of, like, this is how genders or sexualities or races act, and then you get outside of that box and you realize that that's false.
Yeah.
That happens to everybody, but depending on how long, it makes it harder to even see that that's an option.
Well, and also
or to break
your
that.
personality type too at that point.
True.
Because there's, you know what's funny about this is because, so I have to find the name of the documentary, and I don't have my phone now, but there's a documentary where these twins got separated at birth and put into two different
Mhm.
types of households.
Mhm.
And it was they did this with multiple sets of twins. But the specific documentary was based off, actually, I think it was based off of a set of triplets. And the scientists did this to find out how much of it is nature versus nurture, how much of it is your genetics. And it's crazy. It's crazy how much of their personality traits was genetic.
Mhm.
It's crazy how like some of even their thought processes were pure genetic.
Mhm.
Like,
Well, me and you talked about that when you were pregnant with Wyatt. Like, there's so much that we don't realize goes into, like, even the time of, like, conception and birth,
yeah,
that influences, like, you know what I mean, like, mood of the mother, mood of the household, like,
Yeah.
music, food, the environment that they're going in and out of,
yeah,
like, all of that stuff plays into what they're going to be in their personality, and, like, how they're going to feel and react to things, even before they start
yeah.
they start developing an outside
Well,
personality.
and even look at Emma and Wyatt.
Yeah.
They've got two completely different fathers,
Mhm.
but they are the same fucking kid.
Mhm.
They're Wyatt is like a male reincarnation of Emma.
Mhm.
Like, and it's I don't know. It's just funny seeing these things because it's like it's got to be a lot more of my genetics. You know what I mean? And it's not. It can't be so much nature because look at Alice. She's so much different.
Yeah.
And she grew up. I mean,
Relatively,
yes, every kid grows up in a different household.
Yeah.
There is no same household for per kid because
Life
parents
happens.
are in different places. But I mean, for the most part, you know, she had the same parents. She had the same, experiences for the most part as her sister. So it's like, but she's so much more different.
Well, even you would say, like, I came into Alice's life around the same time as Wyatt, so, like, you could even say that should have manipulated.
You came into our life when
she was 4.
Emma was. Wyatt's 5.
I know. I'm saying Alice was 4.
Alice was 3.
Oh, I thought she was 4.
Alice was 3. You came into our life around
well, even more
Emma was about Wyatt's age.
well, even more so. So even more so to what I was just gonna say is that you would think that me being in your life would be different, would make it different, because my influence would be longer than my influence in her life would be more impactful theoretically because it's the longest difference.
Like then her father's is what you're saying? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying is that
But
Emma
it's funny how she
Emma
has some of his traits where it's like that's got to be purely genetic.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Because it's like
is that like you would think that like obviously like your genetics, your influence, like that's apparent. That's going to be apparent for all three kids. It doesn't matter. But I'm saying like the influence as far as like that goes, like traits of like Jake and traits of me. Not to say that all three of my children have traits of me, just weirdly. But like you would think that me, especially in Alice being so young when I came into her life, you would think that my influence would be more apparent than Jake's because mine is the longer consistent.
Yeah.
When it's not. I mean, like there are, but like it's not. Like she still has things like from Jake that are just
which
just a part of it.
Like I've said before in conversation, which is strange. It's got to be purely genetic because, I mean, how would she have learned those things? How would she, and it's just like watching Emma. It's just like watching Emma with her aversion to authority.
Yeah.
And it's so much like watching Jake in high school.
Yeah.
And it's like that's got to be genetic.
Something in there, yeah.
It's got to be more genetic than anything because what influence could he have possibly had? Like
to that degree.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. They have visited their dad more recently in their teenage years.
Yeah.
But she's had that since she was little. Like she's had that, and
so there's a lot of other. So the basis that I was thinking about this, and there's a lot of other things which we can get into when it comes to the question I'm going to ask.
Yeah.
But the predisposition to racism and sexism and whatever is very, I would say, apparent. It's very, you can kind of boil that down to like influence and like.
This makes me uncomfortable.
If you what?
You making me talk
what I'm about to say. Oh, it's going to make you more uncomfortable with my question.
I know.
So
you're making me uncomfortable.
I'm sorry. It's okay.
Because I'm inherently racist-minded. I don't act upon it. I don't try. Like when I have the thoughts.
Okay, but that's kind of what I was saying is that like growing up with an influence, whether it's intentional or not, growing up with people that lean on like racist thoughts or racist influence or whatever, whether they are racist or mean to be racist or whatever, influences how you grow up and how you think of things. So that's like pretty apparent to me. That and sexism. If you grow up with a mom or dad, vice versa. If you grow up with a dad that's very like women are only to be seen this way, or a mom like all men suck, you're going to, whether you think that as an adult, it's going to be inherent.
Yeah.
My thought that started this thought last week, which is why I want to talk to you about it, and we can get into other specifics about it, is like inherently you can say that people that have a problem with like people that are homophobic or people that have a problem with sexuality, inherently you can initially say, well, that's a religious thing because that's where
I think it's just like everything else.
Started.
I think it's taught and experience and.
But my question to you is, do you think that like there's some part of that that's inherent, or do you think all of that is taught? Do you think?
I think the problem is it's really hard to break people of thoughts, especially when you have, like me, especially when you have thoughts that you can't control necessarily. It's not, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to kill myself, but there are times where I look at a bridge and go, oh, I wonder what that would feel like to jump off. You know what I mean? It's not a thought I want to have.
Yeah.
And so, like, I mean, if you're having those thoughts all the time and you don't understand that those thoughts are a fucked up part of your brain and you can ignore it and it doesn't mean anything, then yeah, I'm sure that's scary. You know what I mean? Like like I was trying to say, this topic in general makes me uncomfortable because I am inherently, not inherently. I don't know the word I'm looking for. My brain does say a lot of like racist and
Hateful things.
hateful things,
Yeah.
and not just racist, but also like sexist things,
Mhm.
and like it just says things that I've heard,
Seen
seen,
yeah.
or
Mhm.
you know, whatever. And so like when something happens, my first thought isn't always a great thought.
Mhm.
And like I know better. I don't speak my thoughts, and I don't act upon those thoughts either because I know better. I have friends. I've had friends. You know what I mean? Like I have met plenty of nice people in all different communities. Um, and it's like I think like I said, if you don't know that about yourself, if you don't know where those thoughts come from or why you have them, or that they're not you, they're
Mhm.
just, you know, like I think that can be very scary, and I think that like it's hard to betray yourself in a way where if you're having those thoughts, it's like, well, I'm having these thoughts, so clearly this is how I feel. You know what I mean? Like,
The argument that I've heard some people say in context to that with the other things like gender and race
yeah,
is that you can choose your sexuality, but you can't choose the other ones. So, do you think that that's fair
you can't
to
choose
have
your
the same?
sexuality.
I I agree.
Okay. Anyways,
I
go
agree.
ahead.
I'm just saying, like, so um there's a question that people have asked that do you think, in your opinion, do you think it's fair to group people
No,
based off of like those things?
no, I don't think that's fair at all.
Do you think
I
that
don't understand anyone who would think that's fair. You also are a part of a group that is stereotyped and grouped and treated a certain way. Like, I'm not saying that I'm for sure not saying white people have it hard because we definitely do not. But I'm saying there is like a notion too to that.
Mhm.
There is like stereotypes to that as well, and like there's different classes of white. There's, you know, like we live in a very rich town and we are not rich.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we are stereotyped as the poor people, like,
Yeah.
and like that's okay. I don't care. But you know, there are times where I'm like, I would like to be seen as respected. I would like to be seen as like a contributing member to this town.
I'm gonna go back to a part of this, but I do want to comment on that. That's where I feel like a lot of things that we grow up are taught is for that right there, because there are a lot of white people that I know of, and I'm not saying that I grew up ridiculously poor, but I grew up kind of how we have been living, which is
Yeah.
very paycheck to paycheck. We have some nice things, but
Yeah,
for the
we
most
can
part,
do things sometimes, but
for the most part, like
we
we
can't
don't.
just drop everything and go on vacation.
Yeah.
It has to be planned out like way ahead of time.
But there are white people I know and have been friends with that have the same experience as, you know, a black or Mexican person growing up, because that's the way of living they grew up in,
Or the neighborhood,
or
the
or
environment.
vice versa. There are other races that I know that didn't grow up that way, that although they are like in that minority race stereotype, they didn't grow up that way. They did grow up in suburban neighborhoods where they went to a private school and like things like that, to where
and kind of to your thing, I kind of wonder if I would be different had it not been for the influences I had as a kid. You know what I mean? Because I had a friend, I had a Mexican friend,
Mhm.
and I used to spend the night at her house a lot,
Mhm.
a lot. And she lived in the part of the neighborhood, like the neighborhood she lived in was dominantly Spanish.
Mhm.
Like it was mostly Mexicans, but there was a little bit of Puerto Rican, and but you know, I learned a lot during that time, and I'm sure I made mistakes. I was, a young kid. I'm sure I said things that I had heard that were like racist or seen as like, rude or whatever. But I learned a lot, and her family was so
Forgiving.
like understanding and welcoming, and like her mom didn't even speak any English, and she was just the most loving fucking person I've ever known. Like, and like, I mean, I don't. A part of me wonders if it had not been for that family and that neighborhood and being part of that community and like embracing the culture itself, because it is a culture. Like I wonder.
It's so much fun.
If I wonder if I would feel differently. You know what I mean? Like if I would, like.
Well, me and you talked about this in other ways, but me and you talked about this a couple weeks ago about how like I have so much culture just because that's how I grew up.
Because you grew up.
When I grew up, it was everything. Like I grew up around every nationality, race, everything you could think of all at one time my entire life. So like,
which I didn't.
So like I said, I have perspectives from all sides, and I'm able, and it wasn't I know people say this, but it wasn't like a skin, it wasn't like a front. Like I was friends with all these people. Like it's not like it wasn't like, you put on the different clothes and are like,
you're not
hi,
the white
people.
Guy. You're not the white guy who only says hi to the black guys.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You're not the white guy who only says hello to the black guys.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Walks up to every black guy at the job and be like, "Hey, how's it going? How you doing, bud?"
Yeah, it wasn't like that, but it was just an understanding of like, and that's kind of what I was saying in the beginning. Is like, it was a genuine, like, I was friends with these people. They were friends with me. Like, we went to each other's houses. We had sleepovers. Like, there was a genuine, like, oh, we're just friends.
You want to know something funny, though? Because I grew up in such, like, a racist environment. And I'm
sorry, so it's so weird when you say stuff like that of, like, you're way more cultured than I am because I don't...
You are, though.
Because I just don't think about it. It's just like, it's just a thing. And then you say stuff like that, and I'm like, oh,
well, if you think about it, I grew up... If you think about it, my first 9 years of life were in Menominee, Michigan, which we had one black student. Like, you know what I mean? I don't remember any other culture being there. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of culture there now. And I had a Native American friend, but that's about it. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't have a whole lot. There wasn't a whole lot of culture. That even the town itself didn't have a whole lot of culture. It had a bunch of hillbillies, like, that went hunting every weekend and fishing. You know what I mean? Like, and then I moved to Nevada, where it's mostly white people. In Carson City, it was mostly white people and some Hispanics.
Yeah.
Whether it be, Mexican, Puerto Rican, or Spaniard, it was, and, luckily for Nevada, that's where I got more like that's where I learned, like, oh, like, and I'm not saying that my parents are racist, because they're not necessarily racist per se. They're like that.
No, it's like
they're Gen V.
They're Gen V.
Sorry,
it's like a culture.
They're Gen X.
It's like a cultural racism, kind of like the same way like gay people are viewed in that generation.
Yeah,
it's not necessarily like from their own experiences. It's more of like culturally, like, oh, this is how we all collectively are told we need to feel.
I mean, the most racist thing I ever heard from a parent figure, I'm not going to say who, but the most racist thing I ever heard from a parent figure, which I always thought was a joke as a kid, was if you ever date a black guy, I'll disown you. Yeah. Which, as a kid, I always thought that was a joke.
Killed Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan got booed out of fucking WWE for making the same statement. I always thought it was just
a joke as a kid, and as I get older, I'm like, oh, I don't know if that was a joke.
Maybe it wasn't. So, going back... Sorry, were you done?
No.
Sorry.
But, I did have a grandmother who was extremely racist. Yeah. And she will tell you she's not, but everything she has to say about any other culture is extremely negative, extremely rude, and extremely stereotypical.
Yeah.
Like I've told you, like we, like, and this is just a very small, like just a small example of the many things I've heard her say, and
Mhm.
a lot of the racist voices in my head are her.
Yeah.
Like it's her, it's things that she has physically said that I hear.
Just volume wise. It's not
Yeah.
it's not necessarily that you've heard worse things from other things. It's just the volume of which her voices are in your head compared to everything else you've heard.
And like I've told you this before as an example, is like we were, I think I was like 10, maybe 11,
Mhm.
and we were walking into the bank, and in the parking lot was a dirty diaper, like a wrapped up dirty diaper left in the parking lot.
Mhm.
And she goes, "These fucking filthy Mexicans can't throw anything away."
Mhm.
There was no one around. There was no one there to blame that on.
Yeah.
Like that's where her brain just went to,
Mhm.
like just straight to it. And I was just like, and I remember even at that age going, "What?
Yeah. How does that even make sense?
Like you don't even know. It could have been a white person."
Yeah.
Like, and she goes, "Well, I doubt it." What? Like, and like as I got older, I started challenging her a lot more on that, and I think that also helped me like
Get those thoughts out of your
discover
head.
those voices and
Yeah.
discover where they came from, and discover, you know, because I started challenging her a lot on a lot of those things, not just the racism, but a lot of things in general. Because she's just this very, very judgy person in general. And so she never has anything nice to say about anyone, and she's always talking. I mean, she just does not shut up.
Mhm.
And so, like, we'd be at a grocery store and she'd see a girl with a crop top on. And it doesn't even have to be like a full crop top, it could be like this much skin showing. And she'd be like, "I can't believe these girls going out looking like sluts." Like,
Yeah.
what? Like, like, what the fuck? And so as I got older, I started challenging on it and being like, oh, well, at first it was just, you know, why do you say that? Why do you say mean things about people? Why do you say these things? And then as I like learned more and read the Bible and learned that shit,
Mhm.
she's Christian. She goes to fucking church. And so I started throwing that shit at her. And I was like, well, Jesus says, well, you know, you say you're a Christian, but you sure are judgy.
Mhm.
And I started being pretty mean. But, you know, I don't know. Like, you know, you can only kill them with kindness for so long before you're just like, you're just a bitch.
So, all of this does tie together. Just making that clear.
Okay,
All of this does tie together.
I'm sure.
It does. But, like, do you think it is... I shouldn't say wrong, because initially your answer is going to be yes.
Yes.
Do you think it... do you think it's mean for somebody who's in a marriage... I would say this goes for both genders, but predominantly it's the guy in the relationship to which it happens. But do you think it's mean that if you're in a marriage and you find out that you have a different sexuality, do you think that's mean to have, in a way, not figured that out sooner?
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
So let's say like you're married for like 10, 15, 20 some years and you find out like
No, I think
you
the only
don't...
situation in which that is mean or cruel is if you've known the whole time. And then after like 10, 15 years, you decide, well, I don't want to be married anymore because I'm gay and I've been gay my whole life. And it's like, the fuck? Like, I created a life with you. I wasted all of my good years with you, having children.
Mhm.
Like, well, my good years, but you know what I mean? Like, you know, I've invested time and my emotions and love and my job, my children, my
Mhm.
body. I've invested all of this into this, and now you're telling me that you've known this whole time that you're gay, and that now you don't want to play pretend anymore? Like, what?
So
I personally, if that happened to me, I'd be like, well, that fucking sucks. You don't get to not play
there's
pretend anymore.
So there's two.
Like, sorry.
So there's two sides.
Sucks.
There's two sides of this. I would say that part of it, of knowing the whole time. There is also, and I know that a lot of this, we've had this conversation, so I know a lot of this is like internal communication that needs to happen.
Well, that's also
But
such a
do you
betrayal
think-
of trust.
But do you think, yeah, but let's say,
Because who
the
are
other-
you?
The other,
I don't even know you anymore.
the other side is really what I was thinking about and what kind of started this whole thought process in the first place.
Is like if you found out later.
Later, but I'll go with what you just said, is if you know the whole time. So social constructs would say, not necessarily so much anymore, but religious wise and stuff like that, like it doesn't matter whether you're gay or whatever, you bury that shit down because man and a woman, that's it.
Yeah,
That's all
I
you
get
have.
that, but
So like, it's the thought process of like, you're not talking about it in your relationship. You just one day down the road are like, no, I don't want to do this anymore. I've known the whole time. Joke's on you, sort of thing.
yeah, that's so fucked up.
So do you think it's, I obviously, like, we have a different understanding because you already said that I'm not allowed to divorce you. So regardless of what happens, like, we're not getting divorced.
yeah,
anymore.
you can have a boyfriend, but we're
So it
still
doesn't-
married.
So that part doesn't matter. But what I'm saying is, like, do you think it's,
We'll be like Robin Williams in the Birdcage.
do you think,
Except for we won't be divorced.
I'm old. Anyway, so yeah, for that, like, obviously, like, I would say you're probably right. That would be a big betrayal and a big, like, you could have at least given me a heads up, because I feel like although there's a thought process that's embedded in people of like nobody will understand, even if there's a religious aspect to it, like,
But also,
you can't do this or whatever, but there is some sort, especially
you don't have to. You do not. Okay, I am sorry. If you're gay and you don't want to be gay, you do not have to drag other people into your bullshit. You do not have to get a wife. You do not have to have children. You can just live your life.
Yeah.
And choose not to fuck guys. Like, you don't have to drag women into this.
so
I'm just saying, like,
so that was kind of going to be
go
my
be a priest.
that's kind of good.
Then you can't fuck anyone. You'll be happy.
That was kind of going to be my point of this half of it. It's like, if you know the whole time and you're just using it, yes, I would say that not only is a big betrayal, but like you're intentionally unintentionally hurting somebody.
Yeah.
You're going in it with the with the
I don't
knowing.
even think it's unintentionally. I think you are intentionally hurting someone.
Well, I would.
You are.
Okay, maybe not unintentionally, but as like a, like, this is my goal sort of thing. I don't think that's what it is. I think that there are times, especially when there's a religious aspect to it, of like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the feelings I'm feeling are wrong. So maybe if like I really do like this girl, or like I find some parts of this girl like nice and whatever, so like maybe this will just go away, sort of thing. I get that part of it, but what I was saying is, the longer that goes, the more you know things. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I understand. Which is why I was saying I don't think it's intentional all the time.
I think my problem with
I think the staying through it is intentional.
I think the problem I have with the idea of what you originally stated, which is that if he decides that he's gay,
Yeah.
I think my problem with that statement is you don't just wake up gay one day.
Yes.
You don't just wake up one day at 45 and be like, you know what? I don't even like women anymore. I just like dick. Like, that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
You've had inklings. You've known things. You've felt some kind of way
Mhm.
about men.
Mhm.
You have thought some kind of way about men.
Mhm.
Like, you did not just wake up one day and be like, I'm gay. Like, and so my problem with that original statement is, I think if you, this right here, this is why it's important.
The royal you, not me
Yeah.
specifically.
This is why it's important, and I believe it's important to find that out about yourself. fucking try shit. You know what I mean? Like,
So okay,
don't just get into a marriage as a fucking virgin.
Okay.
Like,
so this was the other part of my question, and why I was separating
religious side wise,
is that, do you think it's fair? I guess fair isn't the right way to word this, but I'll say it anyway. Do you think it's fair if you let's say, I know I'm using the religious context, but let's say you grew up in a very religious household, gay is wrong.
Yeah.
You don't really want to, even if you have like some sort of like attraction or whatever, you kind of bury that down because you're told that that's not a good thing to have or whatever. You get married, right? Say you're married for a year or two. Is it unfair to go to your spouse and be like, hey, I want to explore this thing because I think, I don't know if I'm into this. I don't know if this is a thing, but I know that I'm thinking about it or feel it. Do you think that that's a betrayal of that marriage?
See, this is hard because yes, ultimately yes, but is it fair for either party? No.
Okay.
Both parties are having an unfair part of this. Both parties in this, like and for the guy who is been gay and been married, it's unfair for you too. I get that. And I think this is where both parties need to have a strong understanding that it is unfair to both of them. Just because you're like, it turns out I'm gay and I've been fucked up my whole life and I didn't know this and I got married and this is fucked up and I'm really upset and life is unfair for me. You have to acknowledge too in that is also unfair for her.
Yeah.
Just like she also has to acknowledge that it has been unfair for you.
Yeah.
And I think that if you actually love each other, which if you don't, why'd you get married? If you actually love each other, it shouldn't be hard to see the other person's perspective. It shouldn't be hard to see how that hurt them. Or how that's going to be unfair to them. Or how that's going to hurt them. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know.
So then would you say that it would be in the same betrayal context if our relationship outside of this, a generally normal relationship, do you think it would be unfair to, let's say, 4 years into a marriage, be like, hey, I have these thoughts, I want to explore this. Not necessarily I don't want to be with you, or I'm 100% the other way, like I just don't like women in general, but like I'm attracted to a different gender, whatever, and I want to explore this. Do you think that is an unfair request?
I don't think it's
it's only unfair if you come back and it's like, yeah, I was right, I don't want to be married anymore.
No, I don't think it's an unfair request. I think it's unfair if you don't take no for an answer. I think it's unknown to expect her to be okay with that, or expect the partner to just be like, yeah, you know what?
Yeah, whatever.
You.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That is unfair. I don't think the conversation is unfair.
Yeah.
I don't think, like, if you want to have a conversation, by all means, if you guys have a good marriage, you should be able to have that conversation. You know what I mean? And it should be a conversation. But I don't think it's unfair for her to be like, I'm not comfortable with that. I don't like that. Because that is a betrayal. That is, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's unfair for him to be like, well,
yeah,
then I can't do this anymore. But I think also I think ultimately that would have to be like multiple good conversations about it, and not just like a blow up or a scream or.
Well, that's kind of, I mean, obviously our big thing always with like things like this is that communication will help out more so than anything else. Like, even especially like a hard thing like this, like I feel like there's a communication thing that can happen that can make it either easier transition or easier for both parties. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like even staying together with that, or
You know, I'm gonna say
breaking up,
something.
or anything like that. Like communication can make those a lot easier rather than, oh yeah, he just broke up with me because he's gay now all of a sudden, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I mean?
I'm gonna say something because
Or she.
we do talk about this a lot about how communication is important, and if you just communicate, things will be better.
Mhm.
And you do this and this. I think one thing that we should disclaim here, though,
Mhm.
is that high emotions are also a part of that.
Yeah.
That sometimes when communication does fail,
Yeah.
and it will, and emotions get high and things are said that aren't necessarily true or meant that way,
Mhm.
I think both parties need to understand that that's all that happened.
Mhm.
I think, like, okay, for example, if he came to her and was like, this is this, and she flipped out and was like, what the fuck? You're gay? Blah. Like, I don't want to do that. That's cheating. Blah, 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 blah. And then he, because you're getting yelled at, is going to get defensive
Mhm.
and yell back. You both need to understand, like, I think understanding in those times.
And there's a manipulation of what's actually being said in those times too.
Yes, for sure. And I
Because
think
you're gonna hear what you want to hear.
well, you're also going to hear it. Not things are going to be said in a way that aren't meant the way they're sounding.
Mhm.
Like I can tell you, hey, I don't love it when you put your shoes there. And if I say it like that versus, I don't like when you fucking put your shoes there, it's going to come off very differently, and it's going to make you feel very differently. Like me saying, hey, I don't like it when you put your shoes there, doesn't feel unloving or uncaring. It doesn't feel like I'm attacking you. It just feels like, oh, maybe I should fix that. Whereas if I just go, don't put your fucking shoes there, it feels unloving. It feels cold. It feels attacky. It feels like there's something deeper is the issue than just the shoes piss you off. You know? And so, and I think it's important in that moment, I think one, when you go into a high tense conversation that you know it's going to escalate right off the bat, you have to understand that it's going to escalate, and you have to be prepared for that. And not prepared as in, oh, I'm prepared to fight.
Defensively.
Prepared to take it.
Yeah.
Prepared to be understanding in that moment and be like, I understand where you're coming from. And I'm sorry that you feel that way. And I'm sorry that I'm making you feel that way. And like, it's going to go so much further if you can prepare yourself for that instead of just being like, well, I can't confront him with that because then he's just going to yell at me. And it's like, well, yeah, he's going to yell at you. That's an upsetting thing. That's confrontation. Like, that's, you know what I mean? Like, things, people don't take criticism well. They don't take confrontation well. So if you come to them with criticism or confrontation, they're not going to take it well. And you have to prepare yourself for that, and not in a way, just like if you were a manager, you need to prepare yourself for that in a calming way, in an understanding way. If I'm telling someone I have to write you up for what you did, and they get mad and start yelling at me, I'm not going to yell at them back. I'm going to be like, yes, I understand. I understand why you're frustrated. I understand that that's frustrating. I understand that you've seen other people do it, and that you don't feel like it's anybody else is getting in trouble for it. You're going to get so much further in that conversation with that person, and you're more likely going to have a better employee out of that because they're going to understand that you're understanding and that you just want the best for them. You're not writing them up because you dislike them or you hate them or you're pointing them out. You're writing them up because it's your job to do that because you saw it and you have to do it. And ultimately, they're going to want to work better for you. They're going to want to not break those rules for you. And that's the same as a relationship. I don't mean to be so like cold about it, but it is. It's the same. Any kind of human interaction is the same. If you just have compassion and understanding in any kind of conversation you're having, you're going to get so much fucking further. And I think that's what's so frustrating, especially after being in a relationship where it was just screaming and screaming and screaming. Like, if you really love this person, why can't you understand that they're high emotion? Why can't you understand that they're upset? And so, like, I think part of that also becomes a betrayal too, is when I get high emotion and I get upset and I'm screaming and yelling, and then the other person's getting defensive, and now I'm like, what the fuck? I'm allowed to be mad about this. Like, and I think that is also like a betrayal of my emotions too. It's like, what the fuck? Like,
To tie the whole point in before we go to that, sorry, to tie the whole point in is that I feel like I started with the what you grow up on and your perceptions of things and whatever is all like, I feel like a lot of when it comes to the sexuality part of it is some of it is based on what we're told. Is like you're scared because this is what the perception of gay people are, or this is what's going to happen, or like things like that.
This is how society is going to treat you. This is how jobs are going to treat you.
This is how I'm going to get looked at as the wife or the husband or the parent of somebody that got divorced because this happened, or they're going to look at me like I was the one that was keeping them from the life that they could be or whatever. There's my tie-in, is that I feel like a lot of those play into that too, of where like it's not necessarily so much like I personally am angry with the situation. It's I'm angry because of voices in my head that are telling me the outcome of this, of what's coming or what has been happening or things like that is put into us from a young age.
Well, and humans are inherently selfish.
Yeah.
We just are. It's part of it is literally your brain protecting you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, our brains are built to be selfish, to protect us. So, like, you do have to fight that part of your brain in certain situations, in certain parts and aspects and stuff. And I think if you're not taught how to do that, or you're not taught, I think you just trusting your brain and trusting your emotions, I think that's where people get into these situations where they, everything's about protecting yourself. So you're not coming out as gay because you're protecting yourself. You're not, you're racist because you're protecting yourself. Or you think you're obviously not. It's
the
not,
perception to yourself is that
you think you're protecting yourself. You think you're protecting your family. You think you're protecting the things that are important to you. And it doesn't make it okay. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying, like,
it's an inherent,
it is something that you have to go against your human nature to be like, to just be genuinely nice to people. And I know that sounds silly, because how is it genuine if you're going against your human nature? But I think because I also think that humans are genuinely kind.
Yeah.
I think we are protectors in general, not just of ourselves, but of people around us.
But also inherently, even our animalistic nature, we're inherently protective as well. So if we have, whether we're kind or not at heart, over time, our entire system, our entire body, our brain is going to be defensive of everything it feels like it needs to be defensive about.
Also, and this is a huge thing that people don't understand about trauma, and how trauma works in literally every single person on this planet has trauma. Every single person. Because trauma is not like I saw someone got hit by a car and I saw the brain splatter on the sidewalk. Trauma is, I got a splinter because I ran my finger across wood, and now I refuse to touch wood that hasn't been sealed. That's trauma. And your brain is responding to that trauma. You got a splinter, and your brain says, don't ever touch wood again. Like, fears in general are trauma. They're trauma responses. So, like, I think as you get older, I think that's a lot of the problems with a lot of older people too, is as you get older, you have built up so much trauma from different things happening
that
and different things seeing and that your brain is just rewired to just put everything, like, you just have this wall and you're like, no. Like, I mean, if you're if you're an old person and all you've seen on the news for the last 30 years is this black man in Milwaukee, this black man in Ohio, this black man in wherever. And
That's
it's like,
Dave Chappelle, by the way. He's the one black man in Ohio. The only one.
I'm just saying, like, if that's all you're hearing on the news over and over and over, and you're not hearing any good stories, you know what I mean? And yes, I know this is gonna sound crazy, but yes, a news article can be trauma.
Yeah.
It can be traumatizing. I mean, I literally I just talked to you about this today. We had a little girl here in town who got hit by a car on the first day of school.
Mm-hmm.
And she was hit by the car and then drug almost a block.
Yeah.
Before the car stopped.
Down a hill and around a curve.
And it only stopped because someone else stopped them.
Yeah.
And that, hearing the news of that gave me a trauma response.
Yeah.
And now anytime I hear a noise in my car, like I hear a rock ding off of it, or I hear, like we talked about today where I thought you almost hit a bird, but I didn't hear anything. So I was like, well, no, I would have heard it.
Yeah.
And I was like, see,
well, you would
every
think,
time,
you would
every
think,
time I think about hearing a noise in a car, I'm like, I think of that little girl. Every time I think of that little girl, and I'm like, how did that lady not fucking hear it?
Yeah.
How did she not hear it?
Hear
and
it,
so that's the
feel
trauma
it,
response. Because I wasn't there. I didn't experience it.
Mhm.
I didn't even see it. I mean, I could see the police lights from up the road.
I was gonna say you didn't know what happened until I came and told you.
I had no clue what was happening down there. And I've never crossed this girl personally. I've only ever seen her cross on the other side a few times. So I don't have a relationship with this girl either. But that became a trauma response for me. Like, now anytime I hear anything, I'm like, how do you not know? You know what I mean? And heaven forbid the person that had hit her would have been black or gay or Hispanic or, and I'm not saying that it would have automatically made me racist or sexist or whatever.
But there would be that sort of implied connotation to what's already fed into. So I have two things. One, I kind of know your answer, but the other one is a personal question for you that might be hard for you to answer. If you don't want to, we can move on because we have enough.
Okay.
So first of all, when it comes to like the marriage thing and like finding out that like you're gay later in the marriage or whatever, do you think that
Are you trying to tell me something?
No.
Okay.
No, we've already talked about
I
this.
said you could have a boyfriend.
Do you think this is very nice of you? Do you think that it's worth trying to make that relationship work?
It depends on the relationship. I mean, it depends on the relationship. It depends on how understanding both parties are. Like, if a guy came up to me, let's say a different Cheryl, a different time, because there was a Cheryl at one time that would have been very betrayed by this.
A different Cheryl.
If a guy had came to me and been like, I think I'm gay, I want to explore that, I would have been pissed. I'd have been like, what the fuck? That's cheating. What do you mean? Like,
are you saying like initially or like I've already like explored this or whatever? You're saying like the initial like this is just the feeling stage.
or just the feelings.
No. I'm asking you. I'm saying like it would be a betrayal like just at the feeling stage.
Yeah.
Okay. Just giving context.
Well, and also
it's not the physical exploring. It's the like thought of like.
But that Cheryl also would have thought that you thinking about having sex with another person is also cheating.
Okay.
Like you're wanting to have sex with another person.
So like the porn and all of that, like that's cheating.
It depends, because there was, I mean.
Well, no, I'm not saying it can't be. I'm saying like
it. Well,
the same.
I think inherently I wasn't against it. It was when it became excessive.
Yeah.
Is when I was like, this feels like cheating.
Yeah.
This feels ridiculous.
I mean.
But
it depends on the relationship.
It definitely does, because like if I could have came into that more understanding, I'm not saying this happened. I'm just saying hypothetically, if I could have came into that more understanding and he could have came into that understanding of my emotions, I think that's something would probably could have been worked through. And if it couldn't have been, that also could have been another conversation of like, you know what, we gave it a shot. I hate this, and now I don't really want to be with you. Like, and not in a mean way, but like, it can be a conversation.
Mhm.
Like, I don't know. It's hard.
Do you think there's an add-on to this, which you kind of answered? Do you think that there's a way of doing that in a loving, mutual way of like where both of you walk away from that not unheard?
Well, yeah, but there's gonna be hurt.
Yeah.
There's gonna be hurt. There's gonna be pain. But yeah, of course, you guys can definitely walk away from that situation, away from each other, and still love each other, still care for each other, still want the best for each other, like for sure. And that's, I mean, to tag on what I've been saying for a while. If you really love someone, why is that so hard?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I love you so much that if you were to walk away today, I would just want the best for you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would be fucking hurt and I would be upset. But I'm not gonna slang your name for the rest of my life. I'm not gonna go and burn your fucking house down.
Talk about how much I hurt you forever and about
yeah. Like, I care about you so deeply that I would just want to be there for you. I would just want to be there. Like, heaven forbid you did want to leave me to marry a guy. I would want to see that.
Mm-hmm.
I would want to see you happy. I would want to see you, like, don't stop it.
That's so nice. That's so sweet.
But that's what I don't understand. Like, if you love someone, if you really love someone, I feel like that's how it should be. Mm-hmm. Like, why do we have that kind of love for children, but we don't share that same kind of love for our partner? Like, my child could do anything and I would still fucking love them and care for them and want the best for them. Well, not anything. Mm-hmm. There are lines.
But for the most part.
But for the most part, you know what I mean? Like, and as parents, we know it better than anyone because you go through a whole stage of teenage years where they fucking hate you.
Yeah.
And they make it very apparent.
Yeah.
And if you're not a mature adult, like, that's going to ruin your relationship forever.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're a mature adult and you fucking know how teenagers work, you're going to get through that. It's going to pass. You're going to care. You're going to want to be at her wedding. You're going to want to see her grow up. Mm-hmm. You're going to want to see her kids. You're going to want to, you know what I mean? Like, so how can we, and I guess I get it, because there are parents out there who can't let go of their kids, who are unable to let their kids get married and let their kids move out and let their kids have lives. So I guess I kind of get it in that aspect of like, okay, well, there are people not like me out there. Mm-hmm. Like it's not natural to want what's best for your kid, because there are plenty of parents who don't. They want their kid to do what they want them to do. But I don't know. I think that's a difference in, well, one, your selfishness too, but also whether you actually love it or if you think you love it. If it, you know what I mean? Like, do you actually love that person? Or do you just feel differently about that person and it makes you think that you love them? Like, because you can care about people and not love them. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like,
so I do want to talk about this, but we can talk about this next time if you don't, or not at all if you don't want to talk about this. But I'm holding space so I can cut it in case you don't want to. So with all of that, can you go through or verbalize like what it was like when like me and you talked about that with me, as far as like my sexuality and stuff like that?
What I went through?
Yeah. Like if that was different or if it was just like that's cool. Like,
I mean,
if there were any like
I don't know.
emotions or thoughts or anything, or
think-
if it was just kind of like, oh, okay, that's a
I think at that
badge
point,
that I get now.
I think I have a beard. Yay!
I got my beard badge today. Or
Oh, now I want one for my vest for
I'll
work.
make you one. Like I said, we can talk about it next time if you don't want to talk about it right now. But
Yeah,
that's kind of what I was.
I mean,
Getting it.
to make it short and sweet, and I mean, we can go deeper into it some other time, but to make it short and sweet, I think I was at a point in my life where I was
I didn't give a fuck.
well, like I said, I cared about you so much before we even got together that I didn't care what you were, what you did, who you're with. Like, I just wanted to see you happy.
Mhm.
And so, like, and you had, like, talked to me about this so early on in our relationship that, like, I think that helped too. But even if you hadn't, I think, like I said, I think the person I had become at that point of us getting together just is so, like, understanding of, like, yeah, like, this shit happens. Like, this is, like, normal. Like, not normal in per se that, like, everyone goes through it, but, like,
This is a thing.
yeah, it's not.
Like,
It's not
strawberry ice
uncalled
cream
for.
exists.
Yeah.
Not that like.
not that you buy strawberry ice cream. Maybe you don't like strawberry ice cream. Maybe
Yeah.
you buy,
But you know it.
you know,
but you
Rocky
know
Road.
it exists.
but it's there. You know it's there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if someone brought it home, you're not going to say no. You like ice cream.
Not sure that's the right thing for the parallels, but so was there any connective tissue for you in that, or like I said, was it just kind of like a
Connective
Oh, this
tissue,
is-
how so? What do you mean?
because like it was probably 2 years into us being together that me and you had that conversation. So like obviously there's 2 years of like us being together where we haven't really like talked about it at all. You know what I mean?
I think
So
it
I'm
would
saying
be-
like, was it like a
I think it'd be very naive of me to say there wasn't signs. And I guess that's another problem.
That's what I
have
was saying.
with,
Like, did you? But that's what I was saying. Like, was it kind of just like a connective tissue? Is what I was saying. Was there just like a click of like when we actually talked about it? You're like, oh, okay.
yeah,
Or was there
like,
or was there a time during that of like, oh, okay, well, like, what about this or this or like?
well, I mean,
like-
obviously, you like anytime anything is disruptive of a relationship, your first thought is going to be like, is this going to break us?
Yeah.
But at that point, it was more so in like, is he going to leave me for a guy? Like, he just doesn't want to be with me no more.
Was that
But
like
I
a
think that's
was that like a
because-
fear for you when we talked about
Yeah,
it? Or
but I
was
think
that,
that's
like,
just because, like I told you, in those first few years, I was just looking for any shoe to drop.
yeah.
I was like, this isn't real. This is made up.
hmm
This is fantasy. There's no way this is real.
I don't get this forever.
This doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So I think at that point when you said that, of course it was like, well, fuck, here it is.
That was it. Yeah.
Here it comes.
Mhm. So was there like a personal? I know that we kind of talked about this in other contexts throughout us talking about this already, but like, was there like a personal thing for you of like an internal adjustment for like hearing that, or like anything, or just kind of like it was like I said, it was just kind of like a bad, so to speak, of like, oh, okay, this is just a part of our lives, like.
Yeah.
Nothing really changed for you internally, or nothing. There wasn't like a
Nothing changed for me
fear,
because
or
I'd
like
already.
other than
Nothing had changed for me because I had already told you, like, way further on, like, way earlier on, like, that, like, I'm not, I don't really care to play games anymore.
yeah,
If you want a relationship with other people while we're in a relationship, as long as you make it apparently aware that I am your number one and
Yeah.
that I'm the one you're going to bed with at night
and you tell me,
and that it's a conversation
Mhm.
and I'm not being lied to, I don't fucking care.
hmm
Like, I really don't have time to give a fuck. Like, I have kids to raise, I have, bills
Mhm.
to pay. Like, I I don't care. I don't care. I don't care how you get your kicks. Just be safe, communicate it, and make sure because I am a jealous type, make sure I am aware that I am
in the loop.
The one.
Yeah.
That like I'm the one you go to sleep with. I'm the one that you help pay the bills. I'm the one that you help raise kids. Like that it's not, you're not marrying this other person. You know what I mean? Like,
so did that, and if this is too personal for a podcast, you can say it is, but did that affect like anything else, like as far as like sexually or like the way you view things or like anything like that at all? Or it just kind of was like, whatever?
No.
Like as far as like, because I know that like there are relationships where that can be an issue of like, where they thinking of something else, or like if I do this, is this stimulating is not the word I want to use, but is this like stimulating another part that doesn't, like, you know what I mean?
Teenage Cheryl would have
Like,
thought of it, but I don't.
No, nothing.
No.
Nothing.
No.
You're pretty secure, and
yep.
When I'm with you, I'm with.
I don't care if you're thinking about other people. I don't give a fuck.
Well, you should care a little.
You snuggle me when we go to sleep. That's
good enough for me.
That does it.
That's good enough for me.
You did it for me.
No, but was there like I know you said like keeping you in a loop or whatever, but
that's mostly just because I don't like to be lied to.
Yeah.
I don't like to be lied to. I don't like to be made to look dumb.
Mm-hmm.
And if everybody else knows something I don't know, that's gonna piss me the fuck right off.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is gonna be an end all for me. Because I have been there. I've done it. I did it for more than 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't do well with not knowing what the fuck is going on.
And everybody else knows before you.
Especially if everybody else knows. Even if other people don't know, I still don't fucking like that. Mm-hmm. Like, because you make me look dumb. Mm-hmm. I look fucking dumb. I look goddamn naive. And especially if other people know, because I'm out here fucking saying whatever. I'm saying you're the greatest person ever. People, I've been in relationships where people have tried to tell me things and I've defended my man because that's your job. Yeah. That's what you do. When you love someone, you're like, you don't think they could do wrong. Mm-hmm. And when they've proved that wrong over and over and over, it's like, why do I bother? Why do I bother?
Last question about this, and then we can stop.
Yeah, we have to stop.
I know. And I do want to talk about both sides of this at probably the next one at some point, because I think that there is a valuable thing in the dichotomy between like the person accepting information and the person giving information. Mm-hmm. Not only specifically like with like coming out to your partner or like things like that, but I think in general there's something to be said about how we our expectations in expressing our truth and the person accepting that information. So I do want to talk about that the next time. But my last question is, how do you feel in that situation? Like even the situation between me and you, how do you feel like that affects children in that relationship, or does it? Or what are your thoughts on that? Like, do you think they should know? Do you think that it matters at all? Do you think it affects how they see?
I think it matters.
Home life.
I think it matters if, like, okay, in our situation, it's not necessary for us to tell the children.
Yeah.
Because nothing's happening. There's nothing there's nothing coming of it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, other than to make them feel like they're welcome to be accepted for whoever they are, mm-hmm. There's not necessarily a reason to have that conversation. Or, but if daddy is going on dates, like that's a conversation that needs to be had, because kids aren't going to understand that, mm-hmm. and like other children aren't going to understand that. Mm-hmm. Like you have to think as a parent, you have to think 10 steps ahead. Mm-hmm. You can't just think of, well, my kid doesn't need to know what's happening. Because when your kid goes to school and is like, my daddy goes on dates with men, the other kids are going to be like, well, your dad's gay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, and it doesn't matter what age they are,
Mhm.
because parents fucking suck,
Yeah.
and they teach their kids shitty things really young.
Mhm.
And so your kid is going to be exposed to like hate talk about things that they don't even fully understand because you didn't talk to them about
Mhm.
it. Like, and so they don't even have the chance to defend their father or to be like, well, I don't care what you think. We like it.
Yeah.
Like, we're okay with it. Like, that's, you
Mhm.
know what I mean? Like, and so I think it's circumstantial for sure. And I think it's age appropriate. Because, yes, you should tell your children because they're going to go to school and they're going to say things and they're going to be told anyways. But age appropriately telling your children. Like, you don't just go up to a 5-year-old and be like, your dad likes to fuck men. Like,
But do you think?
you know what I
But
mean?
do you think
like,
that directly affects children? Is kind of the point of my question. Do you think that?
because of society, yes.
I mean, as far as molding them, like, do you think that, like, if we were to talk to, like, let's say
Well,
for
I think
sake
it
of
molds
argument,
them.
do you think in a negative way, or do you think
No.
that
I think it molds them in a more accepting way of like. I mean, it depends on how you approach them with it.
Mhm.
If you're bitter and you're mean about it, and you're like, well, your dad wants to go fuck men, so
Mhm.
you know, obviously that's going to be a negative.
But do you think that's inappropriate, like having children, like having that relationship while having children? Because there's an
No.
argument. Because there's an
Yeah,
argument
you're
that
talking
people.
about like the polygamy people, like
Well,
not
not just
polygamy, but like there's like
well, not just that, but in general, there's an argument of like this can wait until the children are gone because this warps their view of relationships or what have you, whatever the point that they're
no,
making
because
is.
I think, like I said, I think, and I get where people come from, and again, I think that's just a scared point of view of like, I'm scared my children will end up this way, or I'm scared of this, or I'm scared of that, or I'm scared of how society is going to view my child and the way they think. But I think teaching your kids to be more accepting of people and different things in different ways and different, you know, I think that's more important than worrying about how society is going to view them.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm biased, but I personally would agree with part of what you said is that I understand the idea and the thought that it could be somewhat damaging of like um, the polygamy or polyamory or like even an open marriage or relationship. I understand the potential for it to be destructive.
Yeah, if you're
kids,
well,
but also I feel like if it is the same as like me and you were talking about, if it is an understanding, if it was a conversation, if it is an understanding between all the parties involved, I think that's more beneficial than damaging.
Here's how I feel about it, okay?
Personally.
If the relationship is toxic, it doesn't matter if it's a straight relationship, a polygamy relationship, a polyamorous relationship, a, you know, whatever. It doesn't matter the relationship.
Mhm.
It can be a straight relationship. If it's toxic, it's going to be damaging to the kids.
Yep.
Period.
Mhm.
So establish yourself. Establish the relationship. Ensure that if it is getting to a toxic point, that your children see that you are willing to take yourself out of that.
Mhm.
Because children need to, I think that is very important, especially important for girls right now.
Mhm.
Boys too, but girls too, is that it is okay to leave something that is not beneficial to you,
Mhm.
that is not giving you complete joy and happiness.
Mhm.
And like, and it, even if it hurts the other person, it's okay.
If you're in a 3 out of 10 relationship, it's not beneficial to stay for the 3.
No. And I staying for my kids bullshit, you're not doing anything but teaching them that they have to stay with someone that's shitty. You're teaching them that that's how relationships work. You know what I mean? Like, you're teaching your kids. I went through some very shitty relationships early on in life. And a lot of that was because I was like, well, I have to make it work.
Yep.
That's just how relationships are. You just have to make it work because that's what I saw.
I've said that for years, that was my whole ideology, is that you just fight through it.
Yeah.
The part of loving someone in a relationship is you love them enough to fight through everything to get to a point to make it work.
Yep. And I
Yeah.
think like I think the problem I'm seeing with the girls is like I left their dad so early on in their life
Yeah.
that they've just seen me and you.
Yeah.
And they've just seen a healthy relationship. But I think what we're seeing now is the opposite side of that, of like, well, mom and dad have it, so why can't I? I don't understand why this
Yeah.
relationship can't be like that. We can make it that way.
Yeah.
And it's like, nah, if it's not that way, it's not gonna be that way. Like, and I think it's important, and I'm learning that now, it's important to talk to them about that
Yeah.
and be like, hey, remember how we discussed red flags? That's what these are. These
Yeah.
are red flags right here.
It's not, and there's a difference, and again, they're children, so it's hard to explain this to them because you don't know until you know. I know. You don't know until you know. But you shouldn't have to make it happen.
No.
Yes, communication is important. Yes, you have to work through
and I think
things.
this is where
But it
people get
shouldn't be
confused.
it shouldn't be I can mold it. It should be it's already this, but we can take this off or we can take this off. It shouldn't be I can mold something completely different.
And I think where people get confused and where I got confused is relationships are something you work through.
Yep.
Yes. But not in the sense of I have to completely change this relationship to have it to be what I want it.
Yeah.
There has to be a foundation of something good.
Mm-hmm.
And there has to be communication that's good in that.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you know what I mean? Like, if the foundation's broken, you can't build a home.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just not going to happen.
So. We gotta go.
Yes, I gotta go.
I love you.
Love you.
Thanks for talking.
Is
that a door?
It's our bedroom door. I gotta go put WD-40 on it.